Ever hear whispers of a village so haunted, even the bravest tourists won't set foot there? A place where shadows dance in empty windows and the wind carries forgotten secrets. Welcome to a journey into one of the world's most feared deserted villages. Today, we're not just telling ghost stories, we're exploring a real place. A village abandoned by time, but not by its spirits. What happened here that caused an entire community to vanish, leaving everything behind? The locals have stories, tales passed down through generations, of strange lights, disembodied voices, and apparitions that wander the overgrown streets at night. They say the land itself is cursed, a place where the veil between our world and the next is dangerously thin. We're going to dive deep into these supernatural tales, piece together the history, and try to understand the chilling truth behind the legends. Stick around, because what we uncover might just change the way you think about ghost stories forever. Let's start with the most famous legend of this village, the story of the Weeping Woman of the Old Stone Well. As the tale goes, generations ago, a young woman named Alara fell deeply in love with a traveler who was just passing through. He promised to return for her, but weeks turned into months, and he never came back. Heartbroken and ostracized by the village for her unwavering faith in a stranger, she spent her days and nights by the village well, weeping for her lost love. One day, she simply disappeared. Villagers claim she threw herself into the well in despair. Ever since, visitors and ghost hunters who have dared to approach the well after dusk report hearing the unmistakable sounds of a woman crying. Some have even seen a faint, shimmering figure hunched over the well, her form translucent against the moonlight. The sound is said to be so filled with sorrow that it chills you to the bone. A profound grief that lingers in the air long after the sound has faded. Is it just the wind whistling through the stones? Or is Alara's spirit forever bound to the site of her heartbreak, eternally waiting? The next story that echoes through the valley concerns the old schoolhouse, a building that now stands as a skeletal ruin. Decades ago, long before the village was completely abandoned, a sudden, mysterious illness swept through the community, tragically taking the lives of many children. The schoolhouse was shut down overnight, its doors barred, the laughter of children silenced forever. The villagers believed a dark entity, drawn to the innocence of the young, was responsible. Today, those who venture near the ruins report phenomena that are difficult to explain. They speak of hearing faint nursery rhymes being hummed on the breeze, the distant echo of children's laughter, and even the sound of a single marble rolling across a non-existent wooden floor. Paranormal investigators have captured EVP's electronic voice phenomena of children as voices, whispering simple words like play and teacher. The most unsettling claim comes from a group of hikers who saw small, shadowy figures darting between the crumbling walls at twilight, as if playing a game of tag that has lasted for an eternity. They said it felt less like a haunting and more like a tragic memory, replaying itself over and over. But not all the stories are of sorrow. Some are far more sinister. Let's talk about the Guardian of the Woods. The village is bordered by a dense, ancient forest, and legend says a powerful, non-human entity protects it. The villagers called it the Old Man of the Woods. He wasn't a ghost of a person, but something much older, a spirit of the land itself. He was seen as a protector, but one with a fierce temper towards outsiders who disrespected the forest. Before the village was deserted, locals would leave offerings at the edge of the woods to appease him. As people began to abandon the village, they stopped leaving these tributes. It's said this angered the spirit. Now, the few who dare to camp near the woods tell terrifying stories. They describe a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes from the moment they enter the trees. They report strange animal-like howls that don't match any known creature, and finding their campsites completely disarranged in the morning, with heavy objects moved and tents torn, but no tracks left behind. The most chilling accounts describe seeing a tall, dark figure standing just at the edge of their peripheral vision, a shape that is both man-like and monstrous, which vanishes the moment you turn to look at it directly. This legend serves as a stark warning. Some places are not meant for us, and some guardians never abandon their posts. So, what truly led to the village's demise? While the supernatural stories offer one explanation, historical records hint at a more complex picture. Famine, economic hardship, and the lure of city life certainly played a role in its gradual decline. People left seeking better opportunities, and as the population dwindled, the village became isolated. The last few families packed up and left in the mid-20th century. But here's where it gets strange. The official records are incomplete, and personal diaries from the last residents contain cryptic entries. One journal speaks of a shadow that fell over the valley and whispers that drove good men to madness. Another mentions a pact that was broken, leading to a curse upon the soil. Could it be that a combination of real-world hardships and a deeply rooted belief in these supernatural forces created a perfect storm of fear? Perhaps the stories became so powerful, so ingrained in the village's identity, that they became a self-fulfilling prophecy, driving the last inhabitants away and ensuring no one would ever return. The village wasn't just abandoned, it was surrendered to the legends that claimed it. Now, let's look at the evidence. Over the years, numerous paranormal investigation teams have visited this location, and the findings are compelling. Audio recordings are filled with unexplained bangs, whispers, and cries that align with the legend of the weeping woman. Thermal cameras have detected cold spots congregating around the old schoolhouse, even on warm nights, indicating a sudden drop in temperature often associated with spiritual energy. One team even captured a photograph that has baffled experts. In the window of an abandoned cottage, a faint but discernible face of an old man seems to be peering out, a face that matches no known former resident. Yet, when they entered the cottage moments later, it was empty, covered in decades of dust. Skeptics argue these could be misinterpretations, wine, natural temperature fluctuations, and tricks of light and shadow. But for those who have spent a night within the village's oppressive silence, the feeling that you are not alone is undeniable. Every creak, every rustle of leaves, feels like a direct communication from the past. Can you imagine the sheer terror and despair that would cause an entire community to pack up and leave their homes, their history, everything they've ever known, behind? What if it wasn't just about a bad harvest or the promise of a better job? What if the fear was so real, so tangible, that staying was no longer an option? This village stands as a silent monument to the very possibility, a place where folklore and reality are woven together so tightly, you can no longer tell them apart. It makes you wonder what secrets your own town might be hiding just beneath the surface. If these chilling tales from the forgotten corners of the world fascinate you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. We have so many more mysteries to explore together. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.